All right, chapter 2.3, linear functions in slope-intercept form. So this is, again, basically all review. So if here's our slope equation, difference of y over difference of x. It does not matter which one you label x, y. You just have to make sure that this is one of the original order pairs and this is one of the original order pairs. So for this first one, finding the slope with math, I'm going to do my difference of y, so I'm going to go 7 minus 4. I usually just pick the first parenthesis just because I feel like it's easier, minus a negative 2. Minus a negative changed both to plus, so this 7 minus 4 is 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, so my slope here is equal to negative 3. Pause the video and do B and see by yourself. When we're looking at slopes on the actual graph, you should be able to look at your graph and know right away, is it a positive? So if this little red dot was a little blob walking, I'm walking up the line, always on top of the line, so that means that that's going to be a positive. Always left to right is how you read a book. So same thing here, if I'm looking here, I'm walking down. If I'm just walking straight, I'm safe, this is zero slope, just like that. If I'm falling to my death, it's undefined. So undefined is up and down, left and right is just a 0, and then positive, negative. So some quick vocab. When we have a linear function or a linear equation, it creates a straight line. Our y-intercept is where it passes the y-axis. That means x is 0. Our x-intercept is where it passes the x-axis. That means where y is 0. Our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, which you probably have heard many times before in your life. So looking at these problems, what is the equation of the line? So it gives us the b. Because we have 0 here, this is my b. So I have y equals mx plus b. Now because it is a negative 3, instead of putting plus a negative 3, you could also do that way. You're going to do b, pause, and do b by yourself. When I'm looking at C, first thing I'm going to look for is my slope. So my slope is my rise over run. So rise, I'm going up 3, and I go negative out left, negative 1. So my slope here is 3 over negative 1, or is the same thing as negative 3. Here's my y-intercept. My y-intercept was at a positive 4. So this equation is y equals mx plus b. And then you do D. So when we're actually writing the equation in slope-intercept form, we're going to zoom in on these two. First, you want to try to always isolate the y. So moving over the 5 first. So looking at A, I have a negative 4y, 4, is equal to, I'm subtracting my 5x over. This is still a positive 6. This says times here, so opposite of multiplying is dividing. When you multiply and divide in an equation, it's both sets of terms, so here and here. So this becomes then y is equal to negative 5 over negative 4 is just going to give me a positive 5/4, and 16 divided by negative 4 is going to give me negative 4. So that would be my answer here. Now if I look at this second one, again I still want to isolate my y, so I'm going to move over my 3/4. So I have 1/2 y is equal to, this time I'm going to be adding 3/4 because it's a negative 3/4. And here, this is like dividing by 2, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Again, multiplying and dividing, you have to do to everything. So I will have y equals 2 times 3/4 will give me 3/2 x, and then minus 2, because you still have to make sure to distribute that 2 right there. So y equals 3/2 x minus 2. So after you do something like that, you should be able to clearly say, yes, the slope is 3/2 and the y-intercept is negative 2. Pause and do C and D by yourself. Now when I am actually graphing this, first you have to get the y by itself. So I'm going to add over my 2x. So I have 2x plus 1. So my slope here is 2. Sometimes it's easier if you write it as a fraction because a rise over run. And your y-intercept is 1. So when I'm graphing this, I'm going to go up 1, plot that first. So plotting your y-intercept first, and then my slope goes up 2, and then to the right 1. Now, you can also do this so that it could be a negative or negative. So you could go down 2 to the left 1. One thing when you're doing this, you should try to put as many dots so that it's clearly able to see where your line is. So this is what the line looks like. So I want you to do B by yourself. And then that is it for 2.3, but don't worry, if you're thinking there's a lot more to functions, yes there is. 2.4 is called more functions. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. You have a great, grand, wonderful day.